Okay, tribe. I got a lot today, so I just wanted to cleanse the energy out a little bit with the hand pan. I'm still nursing this rotator cuff energy, shoulder injury, so I'm trying to take it easy a little bit with the hand pan. But I got some serious information here. We're gonna go a little deep, so you might want to get a pen. I don't know how. It's just gonna be some valuable things that come out during this session. So the downloads are powerful, and it's a certain direction I'm going in, right? And so I'm gonna get to it. It's pretty much not gonna be a lot of cards today, so I may pull cards if I'm led to, but today is gonna be a day of instruction on this channel, and it's gonna be a day of insight on this channel. Like, I'm gonna shed light, and I'm gonna do my best to teach and give what I have. Okay. Now, these are downloads, so I'm gonna get straight to it. First one. Sometimes we are in the way, and this is us and our ego. Sometimes, and this download is coming from a place where I'm getting a lot of y'all energy and a lot of people's lives. So it's gonna be a lot. So if it resonates, it does. If not, you might know somebody. But nevertheless, sometimes we are in the way, and this is us and our ego. When we look at life sometimes and things are not going our way, a lot of times we look for every different reason, but the major reason sometimes. And sometimes the major reason why things are not going our way is because we are in the way, or we are in our ego. Life is like ebb and flow, a little here, a little there. That's the consistency of a balanced life. But it shouldn't be you fighting all the time. You all the time fighting, if you always in a mode of doing like that, chances are it's something about you being inside of your ego. Like, not really being able to see what God is really saying due to certain things that we feel. Sometimes we the ones who get in the way of the transmission. So it's good for somebody to know that. Maybe it's hard to accept sometimes that, like, I'm gonna just be personal. A major time when I had to accept that I was in my own way was when God was trying to tell me years ago, I got a mission that's carved out for you, but it's gonna be down the path that's least traveled. Like, so in my mind, I was like, well, I can continue to do whatever I want to do, and God got a plan for me. And then I realized I'm not getting nowhere because I'm in the way, because God is clearly telling me move this way, and it was me and my ego saying, well, no, I'm not going. I had all these different reasons, and it comes from us being in our ego. So sometimes when you in different situations or you in scenarios, really look at where you stand at and see if it's you that's in the way. Like, see if it's you that really needs to probably step back or take down or even walk away sometimes, Spirit saying. Because sometimes a failure to walk away, like if God has, say you've been dealing with something in your life on a consistent basis, and all of a sudden you have a spiritual awakening or you have a change, right? Well, what if it occurs to you that you changing now, and what was suitable then is not suitable now? And sometimes we get in those situations and we waiting for God to pull things away from us, but at that point, it's something that you got to make a decision. It's like Spirit is not going to superimpose over your will. And that's in the matter of walking away. Second download. September 7th is a full blood moon. Now, I know a lot of people are not privy to moon, or they look at it as superstition. The energy of the moon is consistent in every holy scripture that you pick up, no matter what denomination you are. You can pick any denomination of faith, and if you bring me your literature, I'll show you where the moon is positioned in your writings with the assistance of Spirit. I can show you. Like I know the core of a lot of different things, but you know, we could study, but I can guarantee you that any religion is formed around the power in the moon, some sort of way. You gotta really look at it, right? Now, this blood moon that's coming is it is a it is an energy. It says it is a great time to consider who you are as a person and where you want to go. A time to be honest with self, right? See, I'm trying to get somebody a degree about the moon where it can benefit you, not bring you stuff, not give you power over other people, right? No, I'm trying to help you to use this moon, Grand Rising D. I'm trying to end beams. I'm trying to help you use the moon where it can benefit you as a person. Because if you benefit you, you can then benefit those around you, the ones that you connected to. If you want to use the moon to gain things for yourself, how does that benefit everybody else around you? For my people that have knowledge of the moon, like, um, you know, I was getting a download. Perfect time to interject with it. I'm gonna go right to it. You know, the deities are becoming exhausted with the way that people are representing and exploiting them. And this goes along with the moon. Like, people get certain knowledge of certain things about this world that other people don't have. So they take it and they begin to use it. And I caught a download where, you know, God is allowing major deities to intervene universally. And it's because, and I felt like I was kind of sitting with a powerful entity when I caught this download, right? I don't really feel a need to say his name, but if you know, you know, right? Now, what I got when I was sitting with the old guy is this. The evening of the playing fields is justice. You understand? So what this deity was telling me when I was conversing with him is that the knowledge that people had, that they abused, the power that they had, that they abused, is now being made available to other people who don't even know what it is. But it's being made available because in the heart of these people is a better way of representing the deity. Like, you understand what that's saying, right? And this particular deity that I was conversating with, I really think that he gets a kick out of evening the playing fields, right? The playing fields, like, meaning like people shouldn't be, it's like people hold knowledge and go in the dark and they use it to influence and manipulate the energy, right? Well, now them same spirits that work for that, they working for a different thing now, and this is what got everybody baffled. So for somebody, just know that the evening of the playing field is justice. I feel like those who use their name, the name of deities, they come in the name of deities, or they work with deities, or they associate with deities, and their aim is to instill fearful authority, right? A time is coming for that to end, is what I'm saying. Like, you know how, like, a lot of people don't know, right? But just think about how around your way or wherever you may live, a person that worked with superpowers, like she might be like the witch or the voodoo lady or the this or the that, or the authority that's instilled is always passed down through a fear of that person. Like, that fear factor is what the deities is tired of being represented as, you know, like people are yielding authority that's based and centered in fear. And it's a time for that to end. All right. And Those who are working with deities solely working for control, right? Meaning that men and women that use deities for their sole purpose of control, not for the betterment of the environment. They could care less about the lifespan of other people. They can care less about who in energy they invade, because half the people don't know and are not aware of it anyway. So these kind of people that work with deities solely for control is coming to an end. This is what's happening. Justice. Remember, the evening of the playing fields is justice, meaning the knowledge shall be revealed to those people. Those people gonna have the same authority, if not more, than people who've been practitioners for years. It's people, they walking into the same power and authority, and they getting it organically and they getting it honestly. All right. Now, again, September 7th is a great time for you to consider who you are as a person and where you want to go. It's a time to be honest with yourself. So use this blood moon. Get yourself out there under the moon, right? And don't go out there and chant or do all that. People done that. But how about go out there, right, with a more reflective state? Use this alignment of the cosmos to straighten out your life. Because see, you can put yourself in a position where you so honest with yourself on a certain level, it pushes you into a high vibration just because of the honesty. Just being honest with yourself, right? Stepping away from all of the other energies and just focusing on self, going under the moon and setting some serious intentions and making some serious agreements with yourself. A realignment of self. Use the blood moon for something positive. It's a powerful time. You got to think. You got the moon, the earth, and the sun, and they all in the same orbit. Daggone there in the same alignment, right? It's going to cause the moon to be burgundy red, big old blood red on September the 7th, right? Number 3, in all the manifesting, have we manifested forgiveness? Ask yourself, do grudges rage within? That was a deep one, right? All this manifesting, everybody's manifesting this, that, and the third. But have you manifested forgiveness? What about that part? Because it doesn't matter how many things you're trying to bring towards you. If you have a lack of forgiveness, you being counterproductive, because the good energy you bring towards you, you're going to divert away from you due to lack of forgiveness. If you don't have a forgiving heart, what are you going to do as an enlightened being when you come into contact with a person that resembles your past and you haven't forgiven your past? You're going to push that person away. You're going to push that energy away, because forgiveness doesn't allow, lack of forgiveness, that kills the ebb and the flow. No ebb, no flow. Like, at least begin to posture yourself for forgiveness, that it may come to you. Because in all the manifesting, I feel like if you ain't manifested forgiveness, you ain't really done nothing. I mean, you can manifest a car, you can manifest a house, and all of these things, they may look well. That's what half the people think manifesting is all about. And if you ain't doing that, they don't see the spiritual value of what I'm talking about. Because you can have all those things and they can be stripped from you in a minute's notice, changing the wind, right? Like, it's like I heard a Babalawo say one time, one leaf can change everything. One leaf. And it was crazy when he said it. I was like, wow, I was at that level where I just heard what he said, and I was like, wow, Slim, that's deep right there. And that's real. Because you go about in life, we manifest a whole bunch of shit that really don't mean nothing in the end. Right? But temporarily, and I'm gonna get to that, but temporarily it's doing something for it's doing for something, it's doing something to satisfy something hollow on this realm. Most of the time, like when we manifest in the cars or we manifest in the homes, we doing it that we may walk in the energy of being successful, that we may walk in the energy. That's just like people go to work. It don't matter what kind of job they got. They'll be like, up on my way to work and post it. And I'm not saying that there's nothing wrong with it, but it's showing you that we put value and stock in the opinion of others. Because when people do things like that, a lot of time it's because they want to show other people that this. Why you think people struggle so hard to keep up an image and an illusion so big? Some people live paycheck to paycheck, right? And they live paycheck to paycheck, and their life is too expensive for them. But some people, they won't say, oh, life is too expensive, let me slow down, it's gonna make me age, it's gonna make me crazy, I'm gonna lose things because I'm literally, and people won't do that because people don't like to look to other people a certain way, and if you don't get beyond that, you're gonna be stuck. That's 3D world shit. Remember that. Like, those times you need to shift into the 5D, shift into fourth dimensional thought process, and begin to realize I'm manifesting all this mediocre shit, but am I really manifesting forgiveness, spiritual abundance, health, different things that's gonna last me down the line, right? And all the manifesting, have we manifested forgiveness? The second part of that download was, ask yourself, do grudges rage within? That's deep. I had to ask myself when Spirit gave me that. I had to turn it on myself and say, well, dang. Right? And I could successfully say no in my case. But they did at once. I took the time to really deal with it, because the grudges that rage deep within, they sometimes it's such a solar level that it be with your parents or with people that's close to you. It be grudges like, for instance, I'm gonna tell you about one of my grudges. My daddy was a strong man, right? He had a strong set. He had shamanic abilities, like a shaman. He had shamanic power that nobody understood. And he was strong, he was very big, and he was very strong, he was a very dominant man. But one time, he was like, he don't like God and F the devil. And what he showed me was something that I held a grudge with him. Even when he transitioned, I held a grudge because I was like, instead of you teaching me how to sort out these shamanic qualities that you gave me, the gift to read, the gift to see things, you was too busy being stranded in both worlds and not wanting to make a decision whether you want to serve humanity or whether you want to cattle humanity. Because that's what people who have spiritual gifts do. They either serve humanity or they victimize humanity, right? So within me, I had a grudge raging for years, I couldn't understand why I inherited this anger, right? And it was a spiritual anger, like, because I would be angry at the spirit of people, like, I would be so angry that I can see what kind of spirit people had that it used to make me mad. I used to be like, I don't want to see all that, And I mean, this is in everywhere, holy places, synagogues, mass jigs, everywhere. I was aware of my own sicknesses, you know what I'm saying? And I put them on display. But I didn't like the fact that I could see other people that deep. And I held a grudge with my daddy about it. Because again, I was like, even if he would have lived this life, like, Because in many ways, I'm not a perfect dad by any means, right? I'm none of that. But I learned from studying with my father Eric that had he lived a certain way, it would have taught me more. It wasn't about his involvement with me because long as he was living, he was powerful enough for me to, I knew I could reach him, and I just know that. Like us kind of people, we know that. But I was more mad because he didn't live his life in a way where I could look at his life and begin to break down what was going on with me with these supernatural or shamanic abilities or psychic abilities that I inherited, right? So I strive to live my life in a way now that my children can, because they truly do. If you have these qualities, they're gonna flow to your children. Bio influence, DNA influence, spiritual influence, all of these things. Like if you, chances are they're gonna manifest in your children. So at least live your life in a way where do some work that you can leave behind so they can have something to be like, well, it helped. It helped. Um, Number 4. This was crazy. Spirit said, fighting evil is transmuting your own. Find something to do with it. And I was like, wow, I was right. And I was like, sometimes I laugh when I hear these things come through. Fighting evil is transmuting your own. Find something to do with it, right? So it's too many of us, we try and fight all these evils outside of ourselves, but not the evil inside of you. So what you're doing is you becoming what you fighting against. That's what we do. You know, if somebody curses you, and you go, they won on a spiritual level. Why? Because they transformed you into what they are. Or you allowed yourself to be transformed into what you fighting against. That's because you wasn't able to transmute what was projected toward you. When people project energy toward you, if you respond to it, you become the enemy that you fight against. This is why Sun Tzu said in the book Art of War, he said, choose your enemies wisely, for you will become them. This is real. So when you're dealing with warfare at work, I'm hearing somebody, I'm picking this up, somebody, you be having a lot of problems at work, right? Try using your time at home to transmute the energy, right? Because, thank you, Spirit, I'm in somebody's household right now, so forgive me, but bringing your problem home and discussing it with your spouse or your loved ones, that's not transmuting your own energy, right? What it's going to cause you to do is begin to get frustrated. Why? Because nobody going to want to hear that all the time. People going to begin to look at you like, man, you talk about work every time. When you go home, why don't you leave it at work? And the fact is, you can't leave it at work because the energy that's being pushed and thrust upon you at work is impacting you. So you got to find a way in between to transmute the energy. I told somebody yesterday, go outside and make some mud pies. Begin to cultivate happiness, right? Sometimes it's really good to look at, like, for instance, say somebody get on your nerves, right? And some people, they like to uphold this Christian image or whatever but let's get down to the reality of how to transmute negative energy. Like, say somebody do things to you and you don't like it. And you hold back from saying something. Well, a good way to transmute an energy like that, lean back on your bed when you're alone, think in your mind, this is an asshole I'm dealing with. And laugh to yourself at how much they are asshole, because when you do that, you giving your mind time to release, and you giving your mind time to become more jokingly and more at ease with the thought of the person. Like, transmuting energy, yo, that's everything. That is about fighting evil. There is no fighting evil and you can't transmute your own. This is why Spirit said, find something to do with it. Them evil ways that we got, you gotta find some, like, transmuting jealousy, right? You know a great way to transmute jealousy? Take it back to your roots, right? Take it, when you take it back to your roots, right? And I feel like this for my feminine, right? My masculine too, but I'm gonna teach you something real quick, right? All right, I wanna teach something to my feminines about masculine energy and how it can help you transmute evil. Thank you, Spirit. Masculine energy is powerful, right? Every woman holds a masculine energy, right? It's transformative, and you can reach it in an instant. And I'm gonna tell you how. And somebody tried and then tell me how it worked. When you take off all of your accessories, when you take off all of your makeup, when you take off everything, and you bear yourself down, you're in masculine energy, even as a feminine, because you in primal energy. Like if you was to like if you had like somewhere where you could really strip off all of your things and become a naked vessel, like literally and spiritually, but this is how you reach raw masculine transformative energy. And if you practice that, it'll kind of move jealousy. Because when I see the attribute of jealousy on a lot of my feminines now, I look at it, and the cross dynamic is I see a bunch of people jealous of the illusions of one another. What way to get away from that than take it back to raw masculine energy as a feminine and reflect it on yourself? Like, you know how some women be jealous of women because of hairstyles, but the hair ain't even real. Some people be mad at women about the way their skin look, but the makeup is on, you know. Some people just, I'm just saying with the jealousy and the energy, right, if you take it back to your roots, you can draw from it. It can help somebody. I don't know. All right, number 5. What has been predicted is coming into fruition. Overwhelming times, right? I'm hearing them say, don't run from it. Don't run from it. Right? You saw it. You said it. And now it's playing out. It's coming into fruition. Because, see, when you said it, you ain't recognize your own power. Well, when it comes into fruition, this is the universe's way of showing you your own power. So you gotta be ready for it. Overwhelming. That's like, you know how they say the blessing come and smack you off your feet, right? That kind of energy though. Like somebody, you predicted, these are things that's been predicted. So this could be things that you said to other people that you saw, and it's coming into fruition, and it can be overwhelming. You know, people begin to trace the energy back to you. You could be being accused of doing spell work, causing people misfortune, and a lot of it, I feel, in this collective that's connected to us, is none of that. It was just us on the fence, telling people like, you know, just imagine you on the fence and you telling somebody, yo, you got me now, but you know, things gonna change, karma gonna come, things gonna, you know, and when you were saying these things, you were actually making predictions. And now that they coming into fruition, it can be overwhelming, right? So just don't let people place the burden of responsibility on you as a seer, first and foremost. Just because we can see, don't mean I'm responsible for, you know, your outcome or your result or none of that. That's your responsibility. Because if somebody say that they see something, right, they see what they see. That's on you to make adjustments. Like, you know, like, and as a seer, a psychic intuitive I'm speaking to, is a Somebody is an Eastern Star, right? But anyway, it's not your burden of responsibility. When things that you predicted start coming into fruition, what can you do about it? It was above you to begin with. You wasn't even speaking in your own power. You were speaking in a power that was greater. Okay, Ebony, that's a blessing. And Ebony, one of the reasons why I see those kind of energies, because you're a giving person. Like, if don't nobody slide a donation to the Elemental Beings channel, she does. And I'm gonna mention her because she does on a consistent basis. And it's not about a whole lot. It ain't, I mean, it's the consistency of anything we do. And that's what I don't think. It's not about always doing a great, big, mighty thing. It's about doing a small thing on a consistent basis. Number 6. This was on a light note. Comedy is healing. Don't let the enemy steal away from the things that make you laugh. Even when they are ratchet. Suppressed laughter becomes anxiety, right? So this is a beautiful download. You know how when we get self-righteous, we look at things and we know they funny as hell, but we don't want to laugh. I don't want to laugh at that. You better laugh. Spurs says, don't let the enemy steal away from things that make you laugh, even if they ratchet. If it sparks laughter, it sparks laughter. Because if you suppress your laughter enough, it becomes anxiety. Relish the things in life that make you laugh. Somehow, you got little videos, little different little things. Even that little sneaky stuff that you feel in your moral code you're not supposed to laugh at. Me, I'm going to advise you to keep it and laugh at it. You know why? Because touching the chord of laughter is healing. The enemy don't want us to laugh. When you start laughing, that's not the plan. That's not in the enemy's plan for you to have anything that causes a genuine laughter to erupt from you in your belly, because that laughing is healing throughout your body. It sends a rhythm of enlightenment. Laughter can drive away depression instantly. For that minute you laughing, why you think sometimes, you ever seen a person that's depressed and you get them to the point of laughter and they just break and then they go right back to, it's because for that minute right there, the spirit of depression was up off them. They was free, even if it was for 4 or 5 seconds. But you wait it up. You get somebody freedom, them seconds add up. Some people don't even have 15 minutes a day where they can laugh and be healed. So if spirit gives you that, relish it. Don't let the enemy come and take it and steal it. Oh, I ain't supposed to be laughing at that. Oh, I don't. Number 7. Temporary action doesn't always define long-term purpose if we don't allow it. What that's saying is, you can be out here dead wrong in this universe. In the world, you can be dead wrong. You can tap into your gift, and your gift can illuminate you, and you be always right. Yea, though I was far off, I was drawn nigh by the blood. The Bible says that, right? But what that's basically saying is that the gifting that God has given you inside of you is always right. Tap into it and heal yourself. Because your temporary actions, they don't define your long-term purpose unless you allow it to. You got the ability to be like, I ain't gotta do, I done this yesterday. I was cutting up real bad. But today, I gotta be on my demonstration. I'm on my purpose today. I'm focused on my purpose today. And you gotta fight life just like that. Some days when you ain't on your thing, you know what a Muslim told me yesterday? Thank you, Spirit. I was talking to a Muslim brother yesterday, right? I had stopped by his store and we was having a conversation, right? I respect him so much, right? So he was telling me like, I don't really listen to rap no more because it's the devil, right? It's Shaitan. So I was like, well, I teach in accordance, balance. Everything is a duality, bro. I'm like, look, bro, everything is a duality, right? So he was like, yeah, I understand that. He was like, I'm not saying that because he was like, Prophet Muhammad teaches us that trying to hold the faith each and every day is like holding hot coal in your hand. And you know what? I said, whoa. I said, oh, this brother understands balance, right? And that's real. You're not going to be 100% on point, spiritual, enlightened, on a high vibrational frequency, and blah, 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 blah. You're not going to be that way every day. And if you're trying to attain that, you're going to exhaust your own energy, and then spirit going to bring you to a point of reality. You have to start all over again, because now you're going to realize it was only but so much you can do off energy. You need spiritual authority. I told one of my sisters that a few days ago. There's only but so much you can do. You need a spiritual authority. So back to what I'm saying. Your temporary actions don't define your long-term purpose unless you allow them to. When you're not having a good day today, or maybe you had a string of bad days, right? Well, combat that by having a good day. Even if it's only one right now. Even if you only can say I can have one day. All my days are bad, I'm going to have one good day. You doing that right, you begin to define, your purpose begins to come together for your future. We don't have to let the temporary actions define a long-term purpose for our future. All we gotta do is make minor adjustments. You're not gonna learn. Look, collective, let me tell y'all. How old are you? You don't gotta say it, but think of your age, however your big old age, however old you are. Think about the first time you realize that you the way you is. On the negative side, not the positive, on the negative. Think about all the years that you knew that you was the way you is on the negative side, right? And then you grew to a place where you ain't like that version of you no more. So you decide you want to change. You don't want to be that. Well, how long you think it's going to change? It's going to take you to change that version when it took you all these years to become that version of your negative self. I ain't talking about the positive self, the negative self. It took us years to become the negative self. So that self ain't gonna vanish in a year. That's what work is about. That self evaporates and vanishes over time. The more you become something different, the more space you claim, and the more that older you dies off. That's why in the Bible, Paul says, I die daily. He said, I die daily. Then he said, for him to live is Christ and to die is gain, So basically he was like saying, I live daily. Like his destination was to transition and move into heavenly realms. That's what the story is telling. And he did that and I believe in Nehemiah said, life is like a plumb line that you walk, and it's like a little here you mess up, a little there, right? So it's what I'm trying to get somebody to see is that no matter where you stranded in your temporary, right, that don't have to be your permanent. You just gotta have the strength to be like, it's more available. And oh, that was the that was it. That was it. Those were the downloads. Yeah. Because I spoke about the well, I'll say it again for people that may have just came on. God is allowing major deities. God is allowing. Understand what I'm saying? God is allowing major deities around the world to intervene, because the evening of the playing field is justice. So, you know, you walking into power that you don't even know about. Some people, thank you, Spirit, some people, deities were sent at you in a negative way, and when they got to you, you was able to earn the respect of some of these energies that were sent your way. They actually ended up respecting you because you was able to take your own will and stand against what was forcing against you. That gets you respect in the spirit realm. Spirits respect that. Sometimes, I can feel this. Ooh. Sometimes, like, weak people who weak, they know they weak, they send strong spirits, and the spirits that they send don't respect them from the giddy up. So a lot of times, those type of spirits, they actually love when they get sent on a mission and everything go left and they get to go back. They terrorize and torment. That's why it's not good to be sending energies out of your form of weakness. These spirits don't be respecting that. Like, you can't work with powerful energies and you weak. It's like you want a spirit to go unalive somebody, but you wouldn't really go unalive nothing in real life on your own. You wouldn't pick up a tool in a 3D, and you wouldn't even bust a grape at a fruit fight. And I feel like this is even for some of my masculine that be in the warlock energy, that like to be real weirded out in reality and real weak in reality and clamped out in reality, but then I go in the dark and send all type of energies people way. Yeah, that kind of energy, right? Spirits ain't respecting that no more because people are waking up. Ain't nobody ancestors about to tolerate that kind of behavior around this world at this time we living in. You're going to be exposed for the weakling that you are. If you're a person that like to sit in the dark and manipulate energies and hurt people, I don't judge nobody. I'm just calling it how Spirit is giving it to me. A time for that is came and went. You know? It was a time where when you had a spiritual gift, this world was allowed to make a target out of you. You know? That's why so many people run from their gifts that the Most High has bestowed upon them, because the pressure of the world, it comes against them. You're a target. It's like you really God's child. You really got gifts that work. You really can heal in real life. You really can see in real life. You really can see there's evidence of your power. You a target. Not anymore. Because we're not allowing it no more. You just as strong as the people that tried to attack you spiritually. I need somebody to know that. It don't matter if they got the numbers, they got the money, they got the popularity. None of that matter. Live up to who you are in the spirit. Let them move things on the 3D. You move things in the spirit realm. Be one of those kind of people. Okay, y'all. That was the message. I'm not even going to pull no cards. I feel like what I needed to do has been done. So I'm going to tap out. God bless you. If you'd like to be a blessing to the channel, information is on the page. Appreciate it. And with that being said, we'll see you a little later.